Alright, it's time we had a really serious chat, because if you've clicked on this, then it means that you're looking for a shortcut, or you clicked on it out of curiosity, and now that I've got you here and I've got your attention, stay until the end. I really, really want you to watch this. I have seen this number of courses over the last few months in particular grow, where they have this very interesting marketing style, and they tell you things like get fluent in 30 days, sound like a native in 2 months, speak perfect English in 14 days, speak fluently in 5 days. I think the lowest one was speak fluently and sound like a native in 5 days, and it was a WhatsApp group. Just gonna leave that there. Let people judge however they want it. But I've seen these kinds of things on the rise, and the reason why they really, really irritate me is because they create a lot of pressure on learners. And I'm going to give you a real life example using myself as the example, because this kind of happened to me. So if you've been following me on my procrastination with Emma social media, so not pronunciation with Emma, procrastination with Emma, it's where I teach English using video games. I combine my many loves of video games, teaching and going live together, and I teach English using video games. Anyway, shameless plug, I'm going to continue. If you've been following me on those socials, then you will know that I'm learning Japanese, and as proof, I've got my really terribly written hiragana. I've got this as well. I've only been learning it for a few weeks, and the reason why I wanted to start learning Japanese is because it's so different from English, which is my native language, and it's so different to other languages I've learned as well. So if you know me, then you'll know that I speak Spanish already. I've been learning Portuguese, so I can have basic conversations in Portuguese. I learned some French in the past, some Catalan, some German. So a mixture of, you know, mostly like Romance languages, with the, of course, the exception of German. But I really wanted the experience of learning a language that was so different from any other language I learned before, and so different from my native language that I couldn't even begin to guess what a sentence said. I wanted something so different because, for 2 reasons. One, I really wanted a challenge, especially in quarantine. You know, I really wanted to like challenge my brain some more. And 2, I wanted to experience something that my students went through and you watching me go through every single day, which is when you read a text in English and you don't have a clue what it says. You know, there's no way for you to guess, especially if you come from another language where your alphabet's completely different. I mean, when I first looked at Japanese and I looked at hiragana and katakana, I just looked at it like, how does this even translate into sound and word? And of course I've learned that now, I know how it does that, but I wanted that experience. And that might sound really weird to people, but it's what I wanted and it's what I'm getting. So far I'm enjoying it. But I am about 4 weeks into learning Japanese. I've learnt a couple of phrases here and there, just very basic ones. And in Japanese, there are 3 alphabets. So there's hiragana, there's katakana, and there's kanji, right? I have started with hiragana, the one I've shown you a few times now. There are 48 characters just in this alphabet. There's 48 in katakana, and then there's about 10,000 plus in kanji. I've not even tackled that one yet. I'm really dreading that one. But I came across some really interesting videos on YouTube, some interesting courses and things like that when I was looking, some interesting books. And a lot of them made these promises like sound Japanese after 2 weeks, speak like a native in 10 days. or learn hiragana and katakana in 1 month. There was one video I came across where this girl claimed that you can learn hiragana and katakana in 1 day. In 1 day. I literally learned about 5 of these in a day. My brain cannot take any more. But why am I telling you all of this? Because I'm talking about Japanese, I'm talking about me learning Japanese. Am I flexing about the fact that I know about 10 hiragana characters now? I'm definitely not. I want to talk about these deadlines that companies and teachers and other people set. So, as I mentioned, a lot of these videos and things for learning Japanese that I came across said you should know hiragana and katakana after about 1 month. You should know hiragana and katakana after 1 month. The one video that I mentioned where the girl said you can learn it in a day. It's so easy that you can learn hiragana and katakana in a day. Now, I've been learning about 2 or 3 of these a day. If my brain can handle it, 5 a day. I haven't even touched the katakana yet. The sheet is empty. But, you know, I'm so far through the hiragana, and this is the point where a lot of you would become so discouraged and you would start to feel very stupid because your pace is a lot slower than what a lot of these videos and things are claiming you should be following. So according to these videos, as I said, I should already know hiragana and katakana because I'm 4 weeks into learning Japanese. I don't even fully know hiragana. Does that make me stupid? No, is the answer. The thing is that everyone has their own pace. When I was learning Spanish, I picked it up so quickly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm more intelligent or something like that. It doesn't mean that I am the perfect student and that I am doing things correctly because I am following someone else's deadlines. It just means I found it a bit easier than Japanese, which is completely understandable. Japanese is completely different to English. Now, many of you will see a lot of these deadlines that these courses and things set, and you will start to feel discouraged. You will start to feel very demotivated because you will start to think, hold on, I'm supposed to know this thing by this time frame, but I don't know it yet. I'm still having problems. That must make me really stupid. The same with this. I should know both of these, according to videos and courses that I've seen online. And it really irritates me that a lot of people get frustrated and they get upset, they get demotivated and they get discouraged by the deadlines that are set by other people. The deadlines that are set by other people are not deadlines set for you personally. When I work with students one-on-one, which is what I do, I don't teach groups anymore, I get some students who pick up things straight away, and that's great, that's good for them. However, there are some students where we may have to work on the same thing 2, 3, maybe even 4 lessons, and there is no way that I will rush that student. Like, I will not progress on to the next thing unless that student is happy and I'm happy. If we're both happy, we'll move on. But if that student is still struggling with the thing that we are talking about, that specific topic, I'm not going to continue until they're comfortable with that, because that would be pushing the student to work towards my deadline and my expectations. The student as an individual, you as an individual, you have your own expectations and you have your own deadline. You have your own pace, and you need to respect the pace that you and your brain work at. Because you may want to learn English as fast as possible. Heck, I want to be fluent in Japanese in 14 days. Like what was it? No, it wasn't 14. Oh, it was 12 weeks. It was 12 weeks. I have a book that says I will be fluent in Japanese in 12 weeks. I'm putting the theory to the test. I'm 4 weeks in, I can hardly even introduce myself. Heck, I don't even know katakana yet, so that's kind of going out the window right now, is all of that. But the point here in this unnecessarily long video and rant is do not follow someone else's expectations, especially if they don't know you personally. You have your own pace that you and your brain work at. Don't follow someone else's pace, and do not feel stupid. Do not be made. That's what I wanted to say. Do not be made to feel stupid because you cannot meet the expectations and the deadlines that are set by someone else who does not know you as an individual. They don't know your goals. They don't know how your mind works. You may be a particular learner, such as visual. They don't know that. So don't compare yourself to someone else's deadline, and don't compare yourself to others. If you're in a class, I've been in classes as well where I've been the worst student, and you do feel really bad. You feel stupid. You feel really dumb, and it demotivates you. When I was learning Catalan, I was the worst in my class, the absolute worst in my class. I'm still pretty bad at Catalan now, but I don't claim to be the best now. It's not that kind of story, but I know what it's like to feel like you are the worst in the class. It's so demotivating because you see others around you understanding these concepts way faster than you, and you think, how did they get that? How did they understand that? I'm still trying to remember the stuff we did last week or 2 weeks ago. My brain can't keep up. And yeah, you get really demotivated. And in my experience, I actually kind of stopped going to my Catalan classes, and I regret that. And the reason why I stopped is because I was comparing myself to other people, and I was comparing myself to someone else's deadline, and I want to stop that. Because, as I've said, you have your own pace and you have your own deadlines. Set realistic ones. You cannot be fluent in a language after 3 months or 12 weeks or 5 days from a WhatsApp group. You can't. Here are some tips to help you. What you need to do is set yourself realistic goals. And I'm talking very, very, very specific goals. I don't mean become absolutely perfect at grammar by this Saturday, okay? Set incredibly specific goals, little micro goals. For example, with my Japanese, I have set myself the goal of learning 5 of these a day. That's it. 5 a day. That may be enough to really irritate some people, especially the girl who said I could learn both of these in a day. I'm just learning 5 because it's what my brain can handle. It's what I've got the time for. I've set myself a realistic goal, and although the pace is slow compared to other people, I'm still progressing and I'm still learning. And I'm remembering better because I'm enjoying the process. I'm not getting upset because I'm not learning as quickly as other people, and I'm not comparing myself. I'm taking my time, I'm enjoying the process, and that's my second point. You need to start enjoying the process, because if you are just doing this and torturing yourself and you're comparing yourself to other people, like, why can't I understand irregular verbs? They're using irregular verbs straight away. Wow, they sound like a native. Oh my God, why don't I sound like that? You're comparing yourself again, and you need to stop, because that's when you start demotivating yourself, you lose confidence, and yes. I've said this point too many times. I'm kind of drilling this point home at the moment, but you hopefully have got the point. The next thing is consistency. So yes, my goal may be to learn 5 of these characters a day, but if I'm learning 5 characters here, then in about 2 weeks, 5 more characters. I'm probably not going to remember the 5 characters that I learned 2 weeks ago. So it's important to be consistent, and this is why the mini goals are so important. Set mini, realistic goals that you know you can definitely achieve and measure. Okay, that's important. Once you've set those, you then need to be consistent with them. So I'm doing 5 of these a day, and that is fine for me. That's enough for my brain to handle, especially with the kind of schedule that I have right now. I'm busy, I run a business, I teach, I have a life, kind of, not much because it's quarantine, but you get the idea. You need to stay consistent. And the final point I want to make is that in order to stay consistent, it helps if you integrate English into your life in some way, or the language that you're learning in some way. So, for example, I'm maybe exercising at the gym and I have a podcast on in Japanese in the background. Yes, I may not understand everything, but my goal is not to understand everything. It's just to get used to the sounds of the language. So I will literally be, pumping that iron, and I don't do that. I'll be running on the treadmill and I'll be listening to a podcast. And it's just there in the background. The same with watching anime and things like that. I've never really watched anime in my life. I did a bit when I was younger, but it was maybe like 1 or 2 series or something. Now I started watching it more to help me practice Japanese, and I don't even feel like I'm learning anything. I mean, I don't feel like I'm studying Japanese while I'm watching it. So try and find things that you can do to integrate English or the language you're learning into your everyday life. It can be as simple as changing your Facebook or social media or your phone or whatever into your target language. So change Facebook into English, or you could find someone to talk to online. So something like a language partner, something like that. If you really enjoy cooking, instead of looking for the recipes in your native language, look for the recipes in English and start to learn some new vocabulary that way. Maybe you enjoy watching TV series, so what you can do is watch them in English. Maybe you enjoy listening to podcasts about technology. Find some English podcasts about technology. Start to integrate it little by little. It doesn't mean that you need to move country. It just means that you need to start integrating it into your daily life, into your hobbies. Hopefully that will help. So that's my rant. Those are my tips. I'm sorry that this is a really long video, but I just wanted to kind of speak from the heart and get this message out there, because it's something that's really annoying me, and this kind of marketing where it's like sound native in 30 days thing, I see it everywhere, and then people take these courses and they think, I don't sound like a native yet. And it's because, again, they're comparing themselves to someone else's deadline, someone who doesn't know you, they don't know your pace, etc. So follow the tips that I have given. They are the tips that I have followed all my life since I started learning languages. And of course, I haven't been bilingual or whatever all my life. I only started learning my second language. I only started learning my second language when I was 20. So if you ever feel like it's too late in life to learn a language, Emma's really young, she probably learnt Spanish when she was in school or whatever. No, I hated languages when I was in school. I remember doing French at school and I hated the teacher. She was this horrible, miserable Irish woman, and she was just pure nasty evilness. Like, she was just horrible. And I kind of swore to my teenage self at that time, I will never learn another language again. Like, I just hate other languages because of this French teacher. But later on in life, I started learning Spanish. I picked up French again and failed again in French. There's something wrong with me in French, like we just don't get on. But it's a really nice language. I wish I could stick to it, but I just can't. Again, it doesn't mean that I'm not intelligent. Many people would think, oh my god, I can't learn French. That means I'm really dumb. But I just take it as, we're just not meant to be, like it's one of those relationships where you keep going back to them. It's like an ex, like you keep going back to that ex, but it's just not going to work out. That's kind of how I feel about me and French, and I just need to cut that tie with me and French. It's not going to happen. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. This is a really long video, I'm sorry. Follow the tips, don't get demotivated, stop following all of these kinds of, you know, fluent in 20 days kinds of BS videos. It's just not healthy for you mentally, and it's going to destroy your confidence, it's going to destroy your motivation, it's just going to make you feel miserable because you're comparing yourself to other people, and it needs to stop. Stop, 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 stop. So tell me in the comments whether you've come across this before. You know, have you come across this feeling of not feeling good enough, or have you ever come across this feeling of, wow, I feel really stupid? Have you ever been the worst in the class? Have you been the best in the class? Let me know what your experiences of language learning are in terms of confidence and anxiety and things like that, because as I said, I have been the worst in classes, you know, in my Catalan class, and I know how it feels, but again, it comes down to comparing yourself to others. I'm going to shut up. I just keep repeating myself, and it's because I really, really, really want to get the point across, so I hope I have. Anyway, second shameless plug, if you haven't checked out my gaming channel on Twitch yet, then go and take a look. I don't have a YouTube channel for it yet because, well, I can't be bothered, it's too much work. I already have an editor for this channel, and she's helping me out a big deal. But if you're interested in learning English with video games in quite an immersive way, so talking about the tips that I mentioned before, if one of your hobbies is video games and watching people on Twitch, etc., then you can go and check out my channel on Twitch. It's Procrastination with Emma, not Pronunciation with Emma, don't get confused. So go and follow me there, follow me here, follow me everywhere, just don't follow me in person, that would be really creepy. I hope that you have a really nice week, don't ever get demotivated because of other people, and yeah, share your stories in the comments. I'm really curious to know what other people's experiences are regarding this topic. Enjoy your week. I'm going to shut up now. Bye bye.